All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I'll be your yoga instructor today. So, welcome into week 34 of this Yoga for Pregnancy series here on Wild Blue Yonder Media. If you're new to this series, welcome. It's so nice to have you. You can follow this series along by the gestational age if you'd like, or you can pop in and out of classes based on what your body needs and calls for. Welcome back to everyone who's been with me. I hope that your pregnancy is going well, especially as you're moving into the third trimester and moving through this final stage of pregnancy here. So, as we move through practice today, keep in mind your boundaries. Notice where are you ready to extend into postures? Where do you need to modify and come down to the mat? Or perhaps just stay in that center posture. Also, keep in mind, I don't often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty, of course, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and join us whenever you feel ready. Finally, I just want to say welcome into any support persons who are practicing here today, whether that's a friend, a family member, a partner, or even a little family member. It does mean a lot when you're pregnant to have people doing these things in support and alongside you. So, thanks for being here. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. Your legs can be crossed or they can be straight out in front of you. You can be up on a prop. I'm seated on a block on its lowest height or simply down on the mat. Excuse me. We're going to wiggle back and forth through root into our sits bones. And then we'll sit up nice and tall here. We'll inhale as we draw the shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as they come back and down. Inhale as the shoulders come forward and up, and then exhale as you drop them back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on the knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. Gently closing the eyes if that feels comfortable, or simply find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here. So we'll begin this practice the way we have all of our other practices throughout this series with a breathing practice to help you connect with your baby. So if you'd like, place a hand on your belly, a hand on your chest. And take a moment to simply notice your breath without changing it or altering it in any way. And after the next exhale, take a long, slow inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air, before slowly exhaling that breath back out. Take another deep inhale, fill your belly, lungs, and chest with air, before slowly exhaling that breath back out. Now, on the next inhale, imagine drawing in all of the love that you could possibly feel for your baby in and sending that love to your baby. And then on the exhale, imagine baby sending all of its love that it could possibly feel out to you. Inhale, satisfaction for baby. Exhale, baby's satisfaction for you. Inhale, contentment for baby. Exhale, baby's contentment for you. Inhale, joy for baby. Exhale, baby's joy for you. Inhale, gratitude for baby. Exhale, baby's gratitude for you. Inhale, love for baby. Exhale, baby's love for you. Taking a couple more breaths just like that, welcoming in whatever it is you would like to offer to your baby. And then at the same time, on the exhale, having baby send that same offering out to you. Releasing your hands into a comfortable position here and taking a moment to simply notice the breath now that you're no longer controlling it. And then take another moment to set an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale as you feel that intention with your heart and your mind. And then exhale that breath out as you set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Great work. Gently opening the eyes here, rolling onto the hands and knees, moving your prop out of the way if you chose to use one here, and coming onto all fours. So hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, tops of the feet come down onto the floor. Good. We're going to inhale, sink the belly, lift the head and the hips, coming into cow. And then exhale, lift the back, sink the head and the hips, coming into cat. Inhale into cow, sink the belly, squeeze the shoulder blades, look up toward the sky. Exhale into cat, press the mat away, feel the shoulder blades separate as you look back between the legs. Good. Inhale into a nice deep cow, feel the pull through the front side of the body. And then exhale into cat as you feel a pull through the back side of the body. Good. Inhale. Let's come into neutral. Plant your right hand to the center of the mat. On the next inhale, sweep tall with that left arm, reach toward the sky, tabletop twist. And then on the next exhale, thread the needle. So lower your right or your left shoulder down to the floor as you bring that arm beneath the right arm. Side of the head comes down to the mat, coming into this thread the needle tabletop twist here. So we're feeling a rotation through the spine. We're also getting a nice stretch through the outside of our left shoulder. Right hand can remain right where it is. You can also sweep it up around your back and rest it along the low back, even tucking it into the thigh if that's accessible for you here. Just taking a nice deep breath. Good. On the next inhale, plant the right hand, press into it as you sweep tall with that left arm, and then exhale, sweep that left arm back and down before inhaling it forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. And then exhale that left hand back down to the mat. Great work. Opposite side. So left hand to the center of the mat. And then on the next exhale, sweep tall with the right arm, reach toward the sky, tabletop twist. Take a nice full breath here. And then exhale, go ahead, thread the needle. Lower the head down to the mat as you bring that right arm beneath the left here. So your weight should be on your shoulder and the side of your head here, very gently, not a lot of weight in the head. And then the rest of the weight is in the knees. Your left hand can stay here. You can also sweep it up along your back, tucking it into your thigh if that's accessible. We're feeling a nice twist through the spine, pull through the outside of the right leg, right arm, sorry, taking a nice deep breath here. Good work. And then inhale, press into that left hand. Let's go ahead and sweep that right arm tall, reach toward the sky on an inhale. And then exhale, sweep that arm back and down before inhaling it forward and up. Exhale it back and down. Inhale it forward and up. Exhale back and down. Inhale forward and up. And then exhale your hand back down to the mat. Great work here. Okay, hands are beneath the shoulders. We're going to pick up our right foot, bending at the knee, and then kick our right foot out to the right. So it's almost at a 90-degree angle from our body. This feels a little weird, but it'll make sense in just a second. We'll extend our left foot straight out behind us here. So the ball of the foot is on the mat before turning the back heel down. Good. So notice how it's naturally opening your body up to the left. Weight comes into the right hand, right knee, left foot, and then inhale, sweep tall, lift that left arm up. Before exhale, bringing the bicep over the ear, reaching the fingers down toward the floor, coming into this nice full side body stretch. So as you reach through the fingers, you're feeling that pull opening through the side into the top of the hip. Bottom elbow remains slightly bent. We don't want to lock out the joints, and we want to stack those shoulders here so we're nice and open. I love a good side body stretch. This is one of my absolute favorites. It's a great way to help open the spine up. Open up those ribs too if you've been feeling a little crushed during this pregnancy. Good. Let's take another deep inhale. Good. Exhale, sweep that left arm up and then press into your right hand, coming up into neutral, and then drop your left knee down to meet your right. Great job here. So we're going to go ahead and extend our right foot out to the side this time. Toes are facing the same direction as your body. Left arm is going to come down to the mat beneath the shoulder. Inhale, sweep tall with that right arm, and then exhale, bring the bicep over the ear, coming into that side body stretch on the opposite side. So reaching through those fingers, creating that nice arc with the body, opening up through the side body, feeling that opening through the ribs here. Shoulders are stacked, chest is open. Good. Elbow is slightly bent. Breathing here. Lovely. One more deep inhale. And then when you're ready, inhale, coming back up into center, press into neutral, drop that knee, and then go ahead and let's turn toward the top of the mat. Great job. So coming back toward the top of your mat, coming back down onto your hands and knees. We're going to do a child's pose flow here. So you may need to take your knees a little bit wider than your hips, bring those toes together. As you exhale, sink back onto the hips for child's pose. We're not lowering all the way down to that deep stretch. We're going to inhale, come back up, and then flip the feet outward. So we're in that outverted child's pose here. Exhale, sink back as far as you're able, and then inhale back into neutral. Good. So back into regular child's pose on an exhale. Inhale brings you up, flip the feet out, and then exhale back into that outverted child's pose. Good. So moving back and forth at your own pace here, nice and steady, no need to speed. There's no number that you need to reach. Instead, we're just moving in a way that's getting our hips that mobility here. This has helped preparing us for childbirth, helping keep that pelvic region open, mobile, fluid. So moving here, coordinating the movement with the breath, really tuning into the breath and using it as your guide for each movement that you do. Good. Maybe a couple more rounds here. Again, not sinking lower than the body is able, especially with those feet turned outward. That can be a pretty intense stretch, a very unusual movement for the hips here. Good. And then coming back into stillness after that last outward child's pose here. On the next inhale, we're going to tuck our toes. We're actually going to sink back onto our heels, lifting our torso up, coming into Japanese T pose. Now, a couple options here as you sit back. If you're like, Alexis, this is way too intense, no problem. You can grab a prop like a block, and place it between the legs on or between the feet on any side that is most comfortable, and then simply sit back onto that block. My toes are not tucked, so that was not a good demonstration. There we go. That's better. So you can sit back here and that's going to support the opening much more gentle. If you do not have a prop, that's okay. You can simply lean back gently here until you feel enough sensation. You can always use a prop as well or a steady surface to support you here. Now, wherever you decide to find yourself, you want to make sure all of your toes are tucked under. Your heels are underneath your sits bones. Good. You're sitting up nice and tall. Your shoulders are shrugged down. Hands are in a comfortable position. You're probably starting to feel that fire in the feet and being like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I want nothing to do with this. It's an indication that we probably haven't stretched our feet as much as we need. This is a lot of pressure, a lot of intensity right away. So find your breath here for just a couple more moments. Lean into this discomfort of sensation here. Again, not pushing yourself further than you're ready, but allowing yourself to maybe be uncomfortable for a little bit here. We're caring for our feet in a way that's going to allow them to continue to carry us around from place to place, hold us upright. They do so much for us, and this is really giving them some love here, some stretching that we don't often do. Let's take one more breath here. Nice full inhale. And then exhale, let's go ahead and come onto the hands and knees here. Good. Untuck those toes and then tap the tops of the feet out on the mat. Yeah, relieving all of that sensation that we just experienced. You may want to lift the feet and move the ankles in one direction and then in the other. Good. Reassuring yourself, your yoga instructor didn't break your feet. Good. And then coming over into neutral here, we're actually going to step up into a low squat here. I'm going to be at a little bit of an angle so you can kind of see me better. We want our feet wider than our hips, toes are pointing forward. And then when you're ready, on the next exhale, bend the knees and sink down into your garland pose. Bring your hands into heart center here, pressing those hands together, moving the elbows to the inside of the knees, pressing those knees outward. They're probably going to turn the feet outward as well. Totally fine. So welcome into garland pose. You're welcome to gently rock from side to side if that feels good for you. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders shrugged down. Taking just a couple deep breaths here as you kind of rock here. And if rocking does not feel good, you can stay in stillness. But again, this is really opening up those hips, right? Getting a lot of that movement going. Good. Coming into stillness on the next inhale, go ahead and lower down onto your butt, leaning back onto your hands to help you get a bit situated here. Good. We're going to do a couple hip strengthening postures here. So we're going to start by bending our right knee and having our right leg, so it's like perpendicular to our torso and our body. We're going to turn the left knee down, bringing the inside of the left leg and foot down to the mat to our side here. So again, I'm at an angle, but imagine this is the top of your mat. So we're going to start with some hinging open of our knee. So using the big toe and the ball of the big toe here. Hands are on the mat or on props. We're going to inhale, hinge it open, and then exhale, bring it down. Good. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Inhale, open. Exhale, down. Last one. Inhale, open. Exhale down. Great work. Now, you may need to lean a little bit more to the right, brace yourself. We don't want to rock side to side for this next position. So try to get yourself steady here while we lift the entire left leg here. So we inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Woo, feeling it. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Great job. Woo. You may need to shake that out. You can always bring it forward, find a little figure four and fold forward here before sweeping that leg back around. Last one here, we're going to be lifting up onto the legs here, but again, pressing our hips in that forward motion. If you need help or extra support, feel free to use the mat or blocks for that. Otherwise, hands can be in a comfortable position, maybe in heart center, maybe moving with your movement or on the hips, all right? So it looks a little something like this. We'll inhale, lift ourselves forward and up, pressing those hips forward for exhale, coming down. Good. Inhale forward, exhale down. Good. Inhale up and forward, exhale back and down. Inhale up and forward, exhale back and down. Last one. Inhale up and forward, exhale back and down. Great work. We're going to switch on to the opposite side. So however you want to get there, maybe you flip that left leg around first, and then go ahead and flip that right leg around, bringing the inside of the leg and the foot down to the mat. So again, we're turning toward this left leg. It's perpendicular to the body. Maybe it's at the top of your mat. Maybe it's not. You know what is working for you here today. We're going to have our hands down on the mat here for some support. And then using our big toe and the ball of the big toe, we'll hinge open with the knee. So inhale, open, exhale, close. Inhale, open, nice. Exhale, close. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Two more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Last one. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Great. Now, again, you may need to lean slightly over or slightly forward here. We want to avoid rocking back and forth instead and want to isolate all of the movement into the hip and the leg as we lift the entire right leg for this position. So on the next inhale, lift the right leg, exhale it down. Inhale, lift, exhale down. Inhale, lift, exhale down. Two more. Inhale, lift, exhale down. Inhale, lift, exhale down. Great work. You may need to swing that right leg forward for a little release. You can hinge forward here in this figure four. Ooh, that feels good through the hamstring. And then inhale into neutral. Go ahead, swing that leg back around. We're coming into our last one. So remember, we're lifting up onto the legs, pressing our hips forward, finding that spot that feels most comfortable for your arms here as we move. So inhale, lift, pressing the hips forward. Exhale, down. Good. Inhale, up and forward. Exhale, down. Inhale, up and forward. Exhale, down. Inhale, up and forward. Exhale down, last one. Inhale up and forward, and then exhale down. Great work here. Go ahead and cross those legs or just find an easy position. So whether that's easy position, legs crossed, or legs out in front of you, it might feel most comfortable to have your legs in a wide-legged stance. That is fine too. So you can really root into your sits bones here, finding whatever makes most sense for you. Hands come into a comfortable position on the legs or on the knees here. And then when you're ready, on the next inhale, draw those shoulders forward and up before exhaling them back and down. Inhale them forward and up. Exhale them back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale them back and down. Good. And then let's reverse the direction. So inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Good. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Great work. We're going to go ahead and lean back onto our hands, bringing our feet about hip width distance apart or a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. And again, leaning back onto the hands. And then we're just going to windshield wipe the knees back and forth, releasing the glutes, the hips, the low back. But this is also an excellent mobility posture for pregnancy. We've been doing this in the last couple classes, so I may sound like a broken record. I apologize for that. But I just want to emphasize how good this is, how great this helps with mobility and just general movement in your body as you move through this phase of your life and this journey. Making sure the knees touch each time. Good. Breathing. Maybe one or two more times on each side. Good. And then coming into stillness, Go ahead and come back up into neutral. We're going to make our way down onto our back. So if you need a towel off, grab a drink of water, put on socks or a jacket for final relaxation. Now is your moment. We will not sit up for the rest of practice. And I just said back, but I actually meant mat, down onto your mat. Now, for some of you, you may still be on your back, and that's totally fine. If that's comfortable for you, great. For most of us, that will not be. So, kind of lowering down onto your side here, stacking the hips, stacking the knees and the ankles. And you can either put an arm or a hand beneath your head or even use a block if that feels comfortable for you, whatever you prefer. Also, it can be really comfortable to lift the belly and wedge a block, a pillow, a blanket underneath the belly here as well. Just releases the belly, releases the low back, just kind of helps welcome in a little bit of ease here. So notice what feels right for you. There's not a wrong answer. And if laying down is simply not very comfortable for you, you can come back into a seated position and treat this final part of our practice like a seated meditation. So, finding whatever feels the most comfortable for you today and settling in, and then noticing the breath. Begin to notice how fast or slow it is, how deep or shallow. Noticing the quality of each breath on your inhales, and the quality of each breath on your exhales. Feeling into the gentle rise and fall of your belly, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Really noticing that air as it moves in and out of your nose, up and down your throat. Allowing your attention to gently rest on the breath here and simply witness the breath. Now, if it feels right for you, perhaps incorporating a mantra to help you stay grounded and focused on the breath. Inhale, I. Exhale, persevere. Inhale, I. Exhale, persevere. Remembering that the mind is likely to wander off from time to time. So if it does, simply celebrate the fact that you noticed you wandered off and then return to the breath or return to your mantra. I'm going to get quiet for these last few moments of practice so you can have them to yourself. Please know that I'm watching the time and I respect yours, and I will let you out of this posture before the end of our practice. So lean back, let go, and just rest right here with your baby. When you are truly present, you become real. Bringing your awareness back to this space, taking a deep inhale through your nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air, before slowly exhaling that breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Move the arms and legs, gently waking your body up. When it feels right for you, pausing for a moment and bringing back to mind your intention or purpose that you said at the beginning of your practice that answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale here as you make your way on up into a seated position, and we close out our practice together today. So, finding your comfortable seat, rooting into the sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. We inhale, the shoulders come forward and up, and then exhale, we drop them back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on the knees, palms up or down, in the lap, or at heart center. Closing the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including growing a baby. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this Yoga for Pregnancy series class here on Wild Blue Yonder Media. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel and share these practices with any other pregnant women that you know to help support them during their pregnancy journey. And if you would like to bring these practices into the rest of your life, into the body mind, into the spirit mind, right? Check out my podcast, Wild Blue Yonder Meditations. I have hundreds of breathing, mindfulness, meditation practices on there related to pregnancy and just being a human being. So there's lots of practices on there for everyone. It's all free. So make sure to like and subscribe there as well and check it out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next practice. Bye.